Do us a big favor, take a moment to subscribe to the United Nations of Horror right here on YouTube, and don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss an update. Your support means the world to us. Thanks so much, and now, let's get on with the show.
Welcome on, bienvenue. Welcome to this episode of the United Nations. How are we? Your hosts, Mark and Jason. Hi, Jason.
Konnichiwa, Mark. How's it going?
Yeah, pretty good. And we are talking Chucky again.
Yes,
that's good. We like talking Chucky. So
we
fun.
do. We loves us some Chucky, as the kids say.
Yes. We do. Now we're going to be talking about two things here tonight. We're talking about the 2019 kind of reboot. Well, it wasn't a full reboot, really. Though as the start of a new series, as it were. And we're also talking about the spin-off TV series, which is a spin-off from the original sort of 7 movies called Chucky. So we're going to be talking about season 1 of Chucky. We weren't sure we were going to do this, but we kind of got into it, so we did, right?
Last episode, we weren't totally sure, and then I think kind of at the end of it, I'm not even sure if it was on air, but I think at the end of it, we sort of decided, like, yeah, we were going to do it. And also, you watched ahead several more, and then you were like,
and
okay,
so it's got way better. Because you expressed concerns. You watched a couple a while ago, and you said it didn't seem that good. And I watched the first couple, and I agree, it wasn't good. The only thing good about it was the Chucky stuff. There was a lot of bad about it, but it just got better and better.
Yeah, definitely.
It just got way better. The second half of the season, and it's only a short season, it's only 8 episodes, was way better than the first half. It just improved no end. And a lot of the things that were hanging in the air, like, why is Chucky doing this, became explained in the second half, which instead of it being, this feels like they're not sure where they're going, it was like, oh, they totally know where they were going, so, okay.
Yeah, fine. And we'll definitely get into that too.
But we'll get into that.
It certainly surprised me.
Yeah. So, let's turn to Child's Play 2019.
Andy, I know this move has been really tough, but this is supposed to be a new start for us, remember? You said you were going to try to make new friends.
Buddy can connect to and control all of your Caslin products and smart home devices. Introducing your new best friend.
Mom, I need to tell you something, and I need you to believe me. I think Chucky did something.
Andy, if you know something, you better tell me.
Something's wrong with Chucky.
Buddy can connect to and control all of your Caslin products.
Chucky is a toy.
He could be anywhere.
Welcome to Caslin Cars.
We have to stop him. Chucky!
Good night, Andy.
We're going to probably get into spoilers, so let's just have a high level of actually both things, just high level, no sort of whether we liked it or not. Did you like the movie? Did you like the 2019 movie?
I thought it was pretty good, especially for a remake. How about you?
Yeah, I came in with very low expectations. Like, oh no, no voodoo Chucky, no Brad Dourif. What's going to go on? But actually, it worked for me. In fact, it really feels like Megan borrowed a lot from this.
Absolutely.
So me actually seeing Megan helped make this more comfortable because it's like, oh, I know where this is going,
Right.
and stuff like that. So yeah, so
Yeah, I
I
kind
did
of
like
wonder,
it.
did the Megan people like see this and were like, okay, we're gonna take this, and because I mean I got those vibes too as I was watching. I was like, oh, this is totally the Megan plot, you know?
Well, certainly AI, people are definitely starting to become a mainstay of both. Well, actually, horror. Actually, they've always kind of been around in sci-fi. Obviously, I mean,
Yeah.
but go back to Metropolis, right? And it's like that. But they're becoming quite. There's quite a few rather good horror movies with a similar premise to this. That's not necessarily a doll. It might be an artificial person, but obviously you can also reference Terminator, can't you, with stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh,
So yeah,
absolutely.
we both enjoyed it somewhat. It was better than we thought. Okay, TV series season 1, Chucky. What do you think?
Really strong second half. I was blown away actually by the second half. In fact, I think I messaged you after I watched episode 6, and I was like, wow, this is crazy, which
And it
is
gets crazier. That's the
oh
thing.
yeah,
You
the
think, oh, they
end.
can't top this, and they keep topping it. So
Yeah, in a
yeah.
good way, right?
Yes, in a good way. So I'd say that's a big recommend from
Yeah.
us, actually, season 1 of Chucky. So much so, I think I personally will be watching season 2 and 3. And we haven't discussed it, but if you do too, we may come back to Chucky talking about those, right? But
Yeah.
with no promises, we haven't discussed it, so we'll see how we go.
Yeah, I'd be
Okay.
game for that.
So at this point, we are now diving into spoilers. So if you want it, if you don't want it spoiled, don't listen. And if you don't mind, or you've seen it, that's fine too. So Charles Play 2019. Okay, disconnected. Apart from some of the names and some of the premises, disconnected creatively entirely from the other 7 movies. No Don Mancini involved in this.
Right.
So different writers and so on. However, I still think it was pretty strong creatively myself.
Yeah.
And I was while I was missing Brad Dourif, I was quite pleased to see Mark Hamill was going to be the voice of Chucky.
Yeah, I think he did a really good job.
Yeah, he's a great voice actor. He does a great Joker. He's in loads of things, and he's great. He's great. He's one of the best Jokers, right?
Absolutely. I was going to say he's my favorite, and as far as the voice voice actors who have played the Joker, I would say he is my favorite.
Yeah.
Of course, when you get into live action Joker, that's a whole nother debate. But yeah, he really, and watching this, I didn't realize until after the fact that he had voiced Chucky. So I feel like that
Oh
says a
wow.
lot about his kind of
Yeah.
range.
Yeah.
Uh, he's very talented. I feel like he's actually underrated as an actor.
Yeah, I think everyone knows, or anyone who knows anything about voice acting knows he's a great voice actor.
Yeah, I think so too.
There is that. I was also, I went in fairly cold on this film. I didn't know who else was involved. I was really pleased to see Aubrey Plaza. We don't see enough Aubrey Plaza and stuff, but I was really pleased she was in it. So I put it on, not done any research other than I knew it was an AI gone mad kind of movie,
Right.
rather than a voodoo doll, and that immediately made me think, this is just not going to be the same. It's not going to be very good. It's going to be very subpar compared to all the original situations. But you know what? I did enjoy it quite a lot, and I think it delivered. It went mad towards the end, and
It really did.
It didn't skimp on the gore. And I thought the script was solid and the acting was solid. So, what else could you say?
Yeah.
It all stands up. The original, so it starts with basically we see a big corporation, a bit like Apple, I guess. They're tech in all sorts of things, interconnected tech. They've built these new high-tech dolls called Buddy, right? And The premise kind of reminded me of the film AI, which is a much more serious version of, providing these sort of highly intelligent, fast adapting dolls or people that imprint on someone and then become sort of committed to them. It kind of
Right.
made me think of that opening
Yeah.
thing. But what we
Yeah.
see is we see the factory and basically a guy obviously under a lot of stress trying to work out what's wrong with this particular doll, and his boss comes and just fires him. Um,
Yeah. I think we've
uh,
all dealt with that kind of boss who's
yeah,
just
shouting.
overbearing.
He hits him. He hits him. He doesn't
Yeah, I
just
was
shout
like,
him. He hits him.
I mean, I
Uh,
don't know what the work culture is really like in, was it Taiwan? I'm trying to remember.
Vietnam. It was set in
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what the work culture is like there, but I was like, wow, do they really?
Do
Uh,
that.
I mean,
Well, who
we
knows? It's a dramatic premise.
yeah, yeah. I know we
Um,
hear stuff about, other countries, but man, I felt bad for this guy.
Yeah, and he's obviously at the end of his rope, and he gets fired. So his boss walks off, and he takes this somewhat broken, I presume it's a malfunctioning buddy, um, and we see him undo all the safety protocols. We see him specifically undo all the sort of various safety protocols in the software.
Yeah.
And the next shot, basically we see him hit a car, jump out of a high window and hit a car. So no one knows this has been done to this particular doll, right?
Yeah, no one has any clue, and of course it's going to get shipped over to the States, right?
Yes, yes. And then we meet Aubrey Plaza's character Karen, and she's got a young lad as a son who has hearing difficulties, so he's wearing a hearing aid. Which doesn't play much into the plot, really, does it? I thought it was going to be much more central to the plot. But
Yeah,
there's a few moments, but mostly not. Right?
they only really mess with that kind of towards the end a little bit.
Yeah,
And I feel like what they do kind of do with it is utilized well, but they could have done a little bit more with it, I think.
yeah. I'm not complaining. I just assumed because it's a Chekhov's gun, right? It's reference, so therefore it probably is going to become part of the plot, and it doesn't really. Only a little.
Yeah, I have to ask you,
Inside.
Mark, what did you think of kind of the new Andy that we get right off the bat here?
I liked him. I thought he was a pretty good actor. I mean, he's obviously a fair bit older than the Andy we saw.
Yeah.
But I thought he delivered. What did you think?
Yeah, I was the same. I mean, I do feel like it's kind of interesting to look at the culture back in the 1980s and compared to modern day, kind of very different, more in your face now for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what that says about our culture now, or if it really is trying to make any statement, but I was like, this is really more in your face, I guess, is how I would describe it.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the lad. I like the way it was written because he was like a 12-year-old. So he still had
Yeah.
characteristics of a younger child. For example, he cries at one point when something really bad happens. He actually just cries, right? And that is
Yeah.
kind of normal, right? But
Oh,
then in other times,
definitely.
he's saying, I don't want to be a baby anymore, and you can kind of see it. So I thought it was well written and well acted somewhat.
Yeah, very realistic, I feel like, for our kind of modern times, because if you've interacted with children any, you kind of, this age is a lot like that, I have to say.
Yeah. So Karen, she's a single mother. She's got a boyfriend who does not get on with Andy, or Andy does not get on with him. But she
Yeah.
works in a toy store, and we see her dealing with all these dickish customers. Like, I didn't know this buddy was ginger, and she's like, well, there was a window you could, you know.
I like how she deals with this guy a
Yeah.
lot, because
Yeah.
Man, if you've ever worked in customer service, like right? You're gonna deal with just unreasonable people.
People,
And
yes. And
you
she's
know,
not that phased, really. She's just,
she's
okay.
yeah, she's not having any of it. She's just like,
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with these people. And she tells them like it is, which I
Yeah.
thought was pretty cool. And honestly, the term "the customer is always right." I'm like, no, that's not correct,
That's
and
not
we
true.
need to adopt that anyway as part of our culture. So she's
Yeah.
pretty cool. She's a likable single mom, I think, and we sort of get the impression that she's been through the ringer, and that Andy has with her as well.
Yeah, I mean, she's still fairly young, so she must have had him quite young. And in fact, she makes a joke about it later. She actually says, someone says, "You're a mum," and she goes, "Yeah, I had a hell of a sweet 16 party," or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Something like that. But they're new in town. It's a new apartment, so they're new, getting used to the neighbours. They had some sort of rough time. I'm not quite sure what it is, but she's kind of worried about her son a little, and she wants to take him something he wants. And essentially, someone returns one of these buddy dolls. Not, and she said it's on the fritz. It's just, can I get a refund? And she's like, sure. And this is this doll that was A, a bit broken, but B, has had all the safety protocols removed. So she goes to her boss and goes, right, so what happens to these on the truck? And she goes, I guess they just scrap them. I don't really know. And she goes, what happens if it doesn't get on the truck? He goes, well, we don't want to find out things like that. And she's like, what, like your wife finding out you banged Susan at the Christmas party?
yeah. That
And
part made me
it's like,
laugh a lot.
yeah, and it's like, yeah, the boss is a bit useless and just kind of says, okay. She basically can run rings around this boss, so that's fine. Um, so she gives him the buddy, and he's like, well, she goes, come on, you've been going on about this for a year, and he's like, I'm a bit old for this kind of, which feels genuine bit of
Yeah,
dialogue, yeah.
I
And
think
then she's
every
like,
kid
come
at
on,
that age,
it'd be cool with all this.
yeah, you want to be like older than you really are when you're like 12. You're an adult already, pretty much.
Yeah. And they have to go through certain steps so it imprints whoever is the main, whoever the doll belongs to. So they go through those steps and he goes, what name would you like me to have? And he goes, Han Solo. He goes, my name is Chucky. He goes, no, that's not even close. What? No. The doll decides it's going to be called Chucky. I mean, they're buddy dolls, but they can be given different names. And also, there's ads on the TV going on about, and we see Tim Matheson as like this CEO, but only ever on a big screen. We don't see him in person in the film, just on a big screen talking to
Right.
people. But it's kind of cool to see Tim Matheson.
Oh yeah.
Quite like him and stuff. Tim Matheson, when he was young, he always reminded me of Bruce Willis somewhat. I always thought that Tim Matheson and Bruce Willis could be in a movie together as brothers. But yeah, that was when they were a lot younger. They did look a little more similar than they do now. So yeah, it was kind of cool to see him, but he's very not in it much at all, is he? So basically, Andy has now got Chucky, who basically starts doing sketchier and sketchier stuff, right?
Yeah, slowly but surely. I mean, we
They-
as the audience know it's going to go this way.
Yeah, it starts
but
with the
yeah.
cat. They got a cat, which he says, "Don't talk to that cat, Chucky. He's a dick," things like that. And they got a cat, Rudy, who's a mean cat, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
We also see some interactions with Shane. Andy's obviously does not like this man, and we
Yeah.
don't really get a sense of Shane at all in the beginning. In that we don't, he's underwritten, so we don't know if he's a dick or not. We see a few
Yeah.
things like, for example, Karen makes cookies she's never made before, and he's like, "Yeah, they look okay." But he's not a very supportive boyfriend. And in fact, we do find out a bit later he's already married. She didn't know this.
Yeah.
So he's a bit of a dick all around. So,
Oh, yeah,
okay.
big time. I think the only kind of weird indication we get about him is that he seems to drink a lot of alcohol when he's with her. He
Yeah.
just keeps going into the fridge and getting a lot of beer, and so
Yeah.
something seems off about him. And of course, I think a lot of times kids, they sort of have a sixth sense about these things, it
Yeah.
seems like. So,
Well, it's hard to fake it with kids. They either like you or they don't, right?
yeah, yeah.
Then when he's walking down the hall with Chucky, he meets two older kids, a girl and a boy. The boy reminded me a bit of the older lad in Home Alone, actually.
Oh, yeah, kind of like
Because
Buzz. Yeah.
he felt significantly older. Maybe he was just bigger than either of the other two. However, the girl who was called Phelan, right? She was a alpha, right? She did not take nonsense from anyone, did she? It made me laugh.
No, she was cool.
They were a kind of an odd friendship, but it was kind of fun.
Yeah, I agree with you. Kind of not the Rat Pack, but I'm trying to think of the Losers Club.
Goonies?
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. There's a touch of that.
Yeah, a
That's
little
for
bit
sure.
of that going on here, which I thought was cool because, Andy is he's alone. Well, I mean, he's new to this town, obviously, so he's alone at first, and it's nice to see him meet friends and
Yeah. And there is one point where Shane's in the apartment and Andy says to Karen, I'm going out with my friends. And she says, do you want something to eat? But he just wants to get out there and he's just playing on his, I don't know, some sort of handheld or his phone in the hallway. And we encounter then another neighbour who's a detective, happens to be a police detective, a black police detective who sort of says, what are you, the hallway, hobo or something like that.
Yeah.
Starts talking to him, but then Karen comes out and finds him, and they kind of say hi, But we also see, don't we see the dickish boyfriend sort of saying, this is a you problem or something like that, and walking up and leaving her. And the detective sees that, but doesn't interfere, just sees it. So there's that going on too.
Yeah.
And I like the neighbours. His mum is kind of cool as well. We see he lives with his mum.
Yeah.
So that's
Did you
cool.
kind of get like Carl Winslow Family Matters vibes,
Yeah, it's touch of that
Yeah.
kind of thing, I guess. But yeah, I quite like the dynamic. I like the actors. I think it was all cast well, actually. Shane does come across as a dick, so that's fine.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Rooney, the cat Rooney, does scratch Andy, who starts saying, I can't put up with this cat anymore and all this kind of stuff, and he goes and washes his hands. But then basically Chucky kills the cat, right? Strangles the cat.
Yeah, there's no love for the cat here.
Yeah, Andy is immediately mortified and basically does not like Chucky anymore, right? From that point on. And he kind of hides the fact. And when he said, why would you do that, Chucky? Chucky starts playing back the audio of him saying how much he hates the cat, right? So sort of, again, traumatizing Andy somewhat. Yeah, bringing on guilt and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like a natural reaction, from, I mean, I think anyone would be mortified if their, AI android buddy killed a cat like that. Be like, oh my God,
Yeah, it's funny when he meets Pug and Phelan. Buddy's talking, but he says curse words, and they're saying he shouldn't be doing that. And he goes, "No, he kind of does what he likes." He goes, "Well, that don't sound right," but I think it's kind of cool. And there's one scene where they're all watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Which is funny as hell. They're laughing away and the shenanigans in that movie, people getting their faces peeled off and all sorts. And Chucky registers that they're enjoying this, so he goes to the kitchen and gets a kitchen knife and comes out and starts waving it around. And it's like, no, Chucky, put it down. Why are you doing that? He goes, I thought it would make you happy. Because it's an AI. It doesn't really understand. It's learning. So there's that. Oh, there is one little touch I should have mentioned. I should have said I didn't really like the doll design, but he grew on me through the film. We didn't really talk about that.
Yeah,
it looked a bit too goofy.
I totally agree with you there, Mark. There is something. I mean, maybe it's just nostalgia for the old design is kind of what I thought to myself.
Somewhat, but also I
But
just thought the head was too big. It looked too weird.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
that's a good description of it, I feel like.
yeah, but sometimes when it was going a bit mad, his eyes would start glowing red. And that actually gets mentioned, I think, when the woman returns it first to Karen, says his eyes went red and stuff like that. So there is a sort of mention of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's interesting. I like how they did this. The AI is getting exposed to sort of strange, sort of unconventional behavior, like watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and laughing at it, right? Which we understand as, humans, but it would, as an AI, that's got to be, oh, okay, so they like violence and blood.
Right.
Things like
Yeah.
that.
And it's very topical, especially, I mean, this came out in 2019, but, here we are in 2025, and it really is even more topical now because the AI, I mean, it's not really learning through watching yet. I mean, at least not that I know of, but it's learning through, our written
association.
material and yeah.
Association. Yeah.
And I mean, I've seen, they're having robots who are like learning to play soccer and they're getting better as they do this, which is pretty incredible. So, the film is really topical with that kind of stuff, and it makes you think, okay, like if it really did see this stuff, would it be able to comprehend and maybe not right now, but in the future, this might be something we're really talking about here. It's incredible.
Yeah, yeah, yes. I like how it was done. It went crazy at the end. It went really crazy at the end, but
yeah,
that
for
felt
sure.
more on the realistic side of rather than the funny horror side, which is fine. It worked. It worked.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, and we're both, I think we're both fans of sci-fi. We both like Star Trek and things like that. So, and this kind of certainly scratches a certain sci-fi itch as well. So I kind of appreciated that about it too.
Okay. So then and basically Chucky sort of scares the hell out of the arsehole boyfriend, Shane. Who then goes up to Andy angry because Chucky's playing back recordings of Andy saying bad things about Shane as well. He angrily goes to Andy and kind of throws him on the bed. It's not saying, if you got something to say to me, say it to me, man. Basically, not a thing a grown man who is not a family member should be doing to a child.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
a very uncomfortable scene for sure.
Yes, it doesn't go further than that, but he does like stick his face right in Andy's face and sort of say, "Tell if you got a problem with me, tell me." And Andy just looks back at him, doesn't say anything. He goes, "Oh, I thought so." Like, what did he expect? You're a grown man with a 12-year-old. What did you expect exactly? But then Chucky's not having any of that.
Oh no!
Somehow follows Shane, who is married. He's got a family home and is outside doing the Christmas lights, taking down the Christmas lights, making the mistake of wrapping him around himself as he's doing it.
Yeah.
I was wondering, is this like a nod towards Christmas Vacation or something? There wasn't.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that, but but that's a good reference. But yeah, were you at all surprised when he came home and had the family and everything?
Yeah, I thought, it's that, is it?
Yeah.
They could have written this a little better. There was a point where he was on a phone call to someone saying he'll sort something out, but you didn't know what. It could have been work. It wasn't clear. They could have written it so it became more obvious he was a married man before we got to that point. That would have then gave us a more made him an even worse character in terms of the audience. So that would have helped a bit. But, it's fine. Anyway, he's kind of up the ladder and then it starts shaking. He's trying to see what's going on. Essentially, Chucky makes him fall off the ladder and break both his legs in a really nasty way.
Yeah.
And then I think he's got like a rotavator or something. I don't know if that's the word in America, but basically a thing that turns soil, topsoil, and it kind of going towards his head. and he's trying to hold it off with one hand, but then Chucky jumps on his chest with a knife and starts sort of saying things to him. So he then tries to stop the knife, which lets go of the rotator, which then gets into his top of his head.
Yeah, brutal stuff.
Yeah, but he said, this is where I was most shocked. I was like, whoa, this is going full ball. Basically, when the detective comes, and it happens to be the neighbour detective investigating this, who has witnessed Karen and Shane talking in the hallway, so knows who Shane is, right?
Right.
Recognise the face. But when he goes and looks at him, he's basically a skull covered in red blood. Right, there's like his face has been. I was thinking, would a motivator do that? I was thinking to myself, but then we find out basically Chucky's peeled his face off and then made it a present for Andy because he saw them watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Yeah,
well, that sort of thing was happening. So it's like, oh, I couldn't believe the film went that strong.
I couldn't either, actually.
It was wild. It was wild.
It was. I do appreciate the nod to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you know, we kind of get references to other horror movies in the TV series too, like Frankenstein. We'll talk about that. But I always, you know, as a horror fan, it just makes me smile when I see references within one horror movie to another. You know, it's kind of like Scream does it a lot. But I always just it's just cool seeing it, you know, something about it makes the horror
John Carpenter used to use it as well.
Oh yes, and Halloween.
Yes. So yeah, there is quite a bit of that. So basically his face he's put it on top of something. I'm not sure what he's put it on top of, but basically Shane's face is there, and Andy is totally freaked out, but he doesn't know what to do because he knows that Chucky's done this and no one will believe him. So he goes and tells his friends. So Phelan and Pug come in and see this thing. Pug immediately starts throwing up everywhere.
An accurate. I mean, can't blame the kid. You know.
Phelan's a little more sturdy than that.
She is. She's hardcore.
Well, we got to do this. How are we going to do it? They decide they're going to throw it down the garbage. So they wrap it. They found some wrapping paper, which is the wrapping paper from. But the buddy doll, you know, Chucky, when Andy first got it. So they wrap this head up and they immediately say, right, we've got to do it, make sure no one sees us, right? So they immediately walk into Andy's mum and says, what's that? And Andy's like, what, mum? What? He goes, what's that? He goes, I decided to make a present for the nice old lady the detective's mum up the corridor. And she says, well, let's go together and give it to her. He's like, you do that. And he says, and he gives it to the lady, but he says, but I really want you to open this on my birthday.
She just looks like what is going on with this kid? You know,
strange, but that's very sweet. And we do have this is set up earlier in the script where Karen gives him the buddy and says, "I know it's not your birthday for a few weeks, but you know we've had a tough time and you deserve something, right?" So we know his birthday's coming in a few weeks. So yeah, okay. So they. They basically figure out a way to trap Chucky, don't they? We get Pug hiding behind the door and he says, come in, Chucky, come in. Basically, he's been avoiding Chucky, put him in a cupboard. So Chucky's kind of, why won't you be my friend? I'm the only friend, you know, I'll never leave you and all this kind of thing. But they basically get Chucky into a room and hold him down and basically rip out his controls in his chest, kind of, or power source or whatever it is. Phelan does this; she knows what she's doing, right?
Yeah, Andy's actually unable to rip out the power source. I believe, you know, because he has the knife, but. I mean, obviously, he's very attached to Chucky at this point, and
Phelan does it though, right?
Yeah,
she doesn't care.
Yeah, and I think even as audience members, we are kind of in a weird way feeling bad for the Chucky doll here. Even though
Chucky's being emotive, but Andy is terrified of it. We go back.
He is, he
is really frightened of this thing,
and rightfully so.
So they basically wrap it up and they throw it down the garbage, and then they're trying to figure out a way to get the head, basically the face of Shane off the Anyway, they throw it down the garbage. Unfortunately, a sleazy guy who seems to be the superintendent of the building finds it in the trash and takes it to his secret basement, where we find out he's got wired cameras throughout the building. So he's a real scumbag, this guy.
Yeah, he's he kind of has a evil doctor thing going here almost in his basement, but he's more sleazy than that.
He's really sleazy.
Yeah.
He's watching people. Basically, we see him he's been watching Karen in the shower, for example. Things like that. But we also say, oh, wow, he finds the Chucky doll. He goes, oh, I could resell this. It just needs a new power source. So he goes and gets one and reattaches. Now, I think, I could be wrong, but I think this is the first time we get an idea that Chucky can control other Caslin products, right? Other products from its maker company, which seem to be ubiquitous. We get a touch of that in this scene, right? Because he controls like TVs and stuff when he's talking.
Yeah, he's like Bluetooth almost, like he just interfaces
he connects
with
to everything.
Everything. Yeah,
kind of control stuff. Basically, once he's fixed, so I can't remember how it gets set up, but basically he ends up with Chucky hanging over a rotating saw. And and he's holding onto a pipe, so because if he falls, he's going to hit the saw. But he's holding on a pipe. Then we see Chucky use his finger. He's got like a magic finger. He can do stuff. Start turning up the temperature in the pipe. And then, oh man,
this was cool.
We see the man fall and basically get sawn apart. Bits of limbs going here, there.
Yeah, it's quite brutal, isn't it?
Karen's like saying, "What's been?" She finds the cat, right? Or the cat's got. What's going on, Andy? And she's obviously really troubled. She thinks her son is a troubled, little boy. And he starts saying, "It's Chucky. It wasn't me. It was Chucky.
Chucky did it."
she thinks she's really distraught. You can tell.
Yeah.
Aubrey Prowser's good at presenting that kind of thing. Says, right, you're coming to work with me. I need to keep an eye on you. So she takes him along to her job. And then we see the mother of the detective, his name's Noreen, has ordered herself for a Caslin app, a driverless car, right? Which Chucky can control. And because she says things, I'll always be your friend, Andy. Chucky's basically jealous. No one else can be a friend for Andy. Right?
Yeah, it's Chucky or nobody.
Yeah, so basically did I say Doreen? Doreen. Basically he gets the control. I like the way she's fairly feisty, this lady. She's going to bingo or something. But the ride drives past all her friends and carries on going. She's saying, no, stop. And then we see Chucky, and she sees Chucky controlling. She calls him a hobbit motherfucker.
Now that made me laugh.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Basically, she causes her to crash, but then he basically stabs her with a knife. So he's not trying to pretend, it's an accident. He does not care. Right?
No, he's off the rails here for sure.
Yeah. So the detective Norris actually finds his own mother.
That's terrible.
Surprise. Again, totally believable. We don't usually get this kind of thing, but there's a knife in her chest, right? It's not just the girl. So he thinks that Andy's responsible, and goes to the mall and basically arrests Andy. And he says, Mum, what are you doing? He goes, I can do what I like. I'm a police officer. I'm arresting this boy. And then basically it's the release of Buddy 2, so there's a crowd there chanting Buddy for the new Buddy doll, which is arranged. It includes teddy bears and different looking buddies, right?
Definitely iPhone kind of vibes here, because you have really big iPhone. I don't know, especially back then more than now. I think everyone's almost used to the iPhone mega launches now, but
there's this. They're mad about this Buddy 2 doll, but Chucky turns up and basically can control all the dolls, all the TVs, and so we get these rampaging dolls, teddy bear dolls, also drones. For some reason, they've made these kids' toy drones have razor sharp razor sharp propellers, so you
Yeah.
can fly them into it and kill. We see that Karen's boss, the ineffective boss, is dressed up as a giant Buddy 2 doll, but Chucky stabs him in the neck as he's about to go on stage. So he's staggering around, and people go, "What's wrong?" And he takes the head off, and like a massive spray of blood goes all over this little girl.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Again,
right?
I laughed, but it was bad. But then all hell breaks loose. There's red-eyed teddy bears and different buddies doing stuff. Drones flying about, taking people out. One hits Norris, so you think he's taken out. And then the kids sort of say, Failing and Pug and so on, sort of say, "We got to get out around here." He goes, "But my mum's here." And they said, "No, we got to leave. We'll come back. We got to leave." And he said, "Okay." But as they sort of crawl out, he manages. He instead pulls away the thing that's holding the shutters up and says, "I've got to save my mum." So these kids are there, and they're good kids. They are trying to. They do try and get back in as soon as they. Andy's still in there.
Yeah, true friends.
Basically, Andy, Chucky sets up this horrible thing where she's tied up, taped up, with a noose around her neck, and he starts saying to Andy, and Andy's in there saying, "Come out, Chucky," and he's sort of saying, "Maybe you're a friend. Maybe I have to remove everyone else who'll get between us," and then he starts. And Andy's also, he got this from Failing, and got like a little like grass hedge trimmer, a bit of chainsaw, but a hedge trimmer kind of thing. And he's got that too. And basically we see Chucky start a forklift arm lifting, which has got the noose, other end of the noose tied to it. So it's starting to get higher and higher. So he's going to hang his mom. Anyway, there's a big fight, right? And
oh yeah, it's properly wild.
Yeah, so and Andy's trying to sort of cut the rope. He climbs up and basically he thinks he takes Chucky out, and he's kind of climbing up to try but Chucky's still attacking him. And he starts saying, Chucky starts saying, maybe we need to open you up and see what makes you work. So he's gone full murderous. It doesn't matter who, and it's interesting. Hamill keeps it still fairly consistent from the beginning. He doesn't sound crazy. It's just the words he's saying are crazy, but his tone isn't. So it's kind of interestingly modulated. But he manages to cut down his mum and sort of save the day. And the other kids get in. Basically, Norris is still alive and shoots Chucky, which means he knows Chucky's. Well, he kind of probably gathered from what happened earlier. So they managed to take it out. And then I can't remember exactly the end. Did the other kids manage to get in and they basically all smash up Chucky?
Yeah,
right?
they all smash him together.
Sledgehammer. Well, he's taken out, so he's just laying there. But in the end, they just smash him to pieces.
Yeah. That part was pretty cool.
Yeah, with hammers and stuff. It reminded me a bit of, was it Office Space, where they're smashing up computers, right?
Oh, yeah. That's a good comparison. Yeah, good film.
Yeah, a lot of blood, mayhem, everything.
Yeah, as far as remakes go, I was pleasantly surprised. This was definitely more watchable, than a lot of other kind of horror remakes we've had.
Yeah, there's some bits of decent remakes over the years, though, and I'd say this is in the decent remake class. I don't think it's better than the original. Some remakes are actually better or improvement, in my opinion. For example, the remake of The Crazies, I much prefer it to the original.
I'm with you there on The Crazies. I feel like every now and again you do get one that is an improvement.
Yeah, and The Hills Have Eyes is a pretty good remake. I don't think it's better than the original. It's a lot more polished than the original, and it's a different beast and it works on its own terms,
right?
But yeah, this was pretty good. It won't replace the original Child's Play series in my heart, but I quite enjoyed it much more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, I'm of the same opinion. I guess the problem with any remake is that you almost have to compare it to the original, right? Like it's very hard to say, okay, this stands on its own. So it's I guess
the only way you don't is when they're either a lot of time has passed between them or they're radically different. Like The Fly, you don't really compare Cronenberg's The Fly to the 50s Fly, do you? It just
that's true. Yeah,
it's a different beast. Or The Thing, another one from the 80s. Carpenter's
true,
Thing
yeah.
is completely different from the 50s thing.
Yeah, I much prefer. That's another case where I certainly prefer the remake, the Carpenter version.
Both of those are far superior to the
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
But yeah, this was fun. I enjoyed this.
I too.
It weirdly also fits into a modern thing of robot things going mad and creating mayhem. For example, the Banana Splits movie and that mad one with Nick Cage, Wally's Wonderland, was it called? Where he doesn't have any dialogue, he's just a janitor and starts getting attacked by these animatronics. It's kind of in that same ballpark. Solid movie.
I would definitely watch it again.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on Will Score?
Like I say, it's really good as far as remakes go. I think it's compared to the original, I don't think it has as much heart, but on its own, I really enjoyed it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, the original, the little boy Andy, the very first movie, you definitely had a sense of peril around.
Yeah,
right. In this, it's a bit more. You're more the emotional thing is more about seeing this young lad having to deal with this in a quite much more sort of sophisticated. Well, it's not that much more sophisticated, but it's done well. It's done well.
Yeah,
and he's as an actor, he's presenting an emotional response that feels authentic. So that's quite good, right? That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
well acted.
Decent film.
Agreed,
how would you rate this one?
Oh man, this one is a little bit tough for me, Mark, because I do, like I say, I can't help but compare it to the original. So I think it's a well put together film, and as you said, well acted, just well put together overall. And it's for someone who has not seen the original Child's Play, I think it's a good film in its own right, But for me, I have to compare it to the original, so that kind of affects my score a little bit. So I would give it a very solid 2 out of 5. And I don't want to say it's like, I don't want people to think, man, it's not worth watching, because it is. I just, again, I'm comparing it with the original. So a solid 2. Again, I don't think it's bad. I think it is well put together. Just, I just have to put it against the original. How about for you?
I liked it significantly more. I think I'd rate it significantly higher than you. I would give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
Only just, it's closer to the 3 than the 4. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But I still think it's better than just the plain 3. I think it was just well put together. If it had no precursor, if it wasn't a remake and it was just a new thing, I'd be quite impressed. I'm not,
Yeah,
but I would
same.
still give it a 3.5. That's kind of where it felt. I was entertained. It's silly to say, but one of the things that impressed me about it was it's exactly 1 hour, 30 minutes. Exactly to the second. 1 hour, 30 minutes, which I always like in a punchy horror film. I kind of appreciate that. And I felt it was well made, well put together, and just a reasonably good product. Though it does suffer because it ain't the Chucky we know. I kind of appreciate that. So okay, right. Let's move on to the TV series.
Everyone has a Halloween they'll always remember. And this is Jake's.
Jake, you into vintage?
No, I'm into retro.
Oh, what's the difference?
About $10.
Fair enough. Look at that. Someone took the butcher knife.
Hi. I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Are you okay?
I can't stand the sight of blood. Pussy.
Oh, no, Jake, that isn't quite right.
What happened to you, Jake? You used to have friends.
Don't forget your boy toy. Okay.
It's contagious, isn't it? Laughing at people. Well, guess what, Eds? Now the joke's on you. Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end.
What did you do?
Mommy says real killing is bad.
Yeah, well, Mommy's full of shit. Look around you. It's the World Series of Slaughter.
Stop. Did you feel that?
Everywhere Jake Wheeler goes, death seems to follow. This creepy doll just creeps me the hell out.
It's kill or be killed. Everybody's gotta choose.
What's going on with you? You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Chucky. He's gone.
Dude, you have a serious doll problem.
If you only knew.
Hey, kid. I'm gonna go kill your sister. Wanna come?
I'm sleepy.
You snooze, you lose.
Now, we're not going to go through this in much depth. We're going to be a much more shallow sort of thing. There's 8 episodes. They're about 40 to 50 minutes an episode, aren't they? 45 to... Some of them are closer to an hour. Some are closer to 40 minutes, you know.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. This is a USA sci-fi... Basically, honestly, just call it a Universal co-production because, Universal owns USA and Sci-Fi, which I believe they're owned by Viacom now, if I'm right, or I'm sorry, maybe it's Comcast. I might be getting my entities confused, but I mean, there's been so many mergers here in the U.S. It's hard to keep it straight. But who would have ever thought we would get a Chucky TV series, Mark? Isn't it pretty wild?
Yeah, it is wild, and I wasn't sure where they were going with it at first because the first few episodes, it's kind of dealing with these youngsters who aren't particularly. I didn't find them that interesting.
I didn't either.
Apart from there was a girl in it who's a bully who actually comes good. I should preface this: we're gonna spoil this a little.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We're not going too mad. We're just a little, just a little. But there was one girl whose character was called Lexi. I thought she was a strong character. Wasn't too bothered about the rest. And then we also started getting flashbacks of a young Chucky, Charles Lee Ray, I should say, as a boy. So I was thinking, is this going like the Halloween remake where we're trying to justify?
Yeah.
He is. I'm not really interested in that. So there was a few issues with the first few episodes thinking, I'm not sure this is going to engage me that much. However, I think episode 3, towards the end of episode 3, I felt there was a sea change and it started to feel much more sensible. Much more engaging. And Chucky stuff I liked. There was just nothing to argue about. It was just fun, right?
Oh, yeah. I think all that was done really well. I would say like at the very beginning there's a lot of kind of teen angst, if you will, and I really don't like teen angst in any film. So
I felt they were trying to get into Cobra Kai territory and failing. That's kind of where it was feeling to me.
Yeah.
In terms of, and maybe Stranger Things too. I don't really know. But the Chucky stuff, the thing is, Chucky was kind of trying to get these youngsters to do stuff, to be murderous.
Yeah, and I think we were both
why
like,
is he doing that? Why? But it does become apparent towards it. And I won't spoil it too much. And then more characters from the first 7 films start turning up. And
that's
the plot integrates.
Yeah,
the plot integrates into that.
And it got very interesting there. Especially to me, like when when we get Andy and
Kyle,
thank you. When we get both of them, I was like, okay, because pretty early on he talks to Andy, and I recognize the voice immediately. And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. So where is this going? I think it is maybe episode 3 or 4 we get that, and that's where I started getting more intrigued.
It became when they had less about him as a young boy, Charles Lee Ray as a young boy, and more about what's going on now. When it started tying to the film series, it got a lot stronger. And I was thinking, this is really bold, making a TV series that assumes that you've seen all 7 Child's Play movies, because it does tie in directly into those movies in many ways.
Yeah.
It's a follow-on. It's a direct sequel following that timeline. So there is that. So I enjoyed it. There was lots of murders.
Oh gosh,
throughout, and it got more and more insane. And we see major characters from the movies come back and be as crazy, but their arcs are the same as from the movie. They're continuing the arcs from the movie, and
we got Nika back, right?
So we get Nika back, and we get Tiffany back.
Yeah, and
I think Tiffany is even more insane than Chucky.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I mean, she, Jennifer Tilly is always great, but she punches it up even more in this, I think, which is cool.
Yeah, and they also have and I did like this bit. I didn't like the young Charles Lee Ray stuff so much.
Yeah,
but I did like the young version where he meets Tiffany for the first time.
I did too. It's like back in the 80s.
Actor playing him was really good, actually. Playing Charles Lee Ray. A younger Brad Dourif kind of looking guy.
It was cool because it like flashes back to the 80s, and I thought that was all done really, really well.
Yeah.
And it amazes me that they were able to kind of link all the stuff that happened in like Bride of Chucky with all the stuff that kind of happened in modern Chucky,
I was trying to think of TV shows that have they done this, and I was thinking, there is one, Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Yes,
that's the same kind of business, right?
Exactly. That's actually
runs with that premise, right?
It's my favorite TV series for that very reason.
Yeah, it's a great TV series. I've got to rewatch that. We'll have to cover it sometime, I think. I think we have, but we could do it again.
I know we've at least we've talked about it on our Evil Dead episodes, I know, but I don't think we've covered it in full form. That would be fun to do.
Yeah. So essentially, this gets so much stronger in the second 4 episodes, doesn't it?
Oh gosh, yeah.
And like I say, I think it really starts picking up from end of episode 3 onwards. 3 had me to the point where, I'm going to watch all of this season 1. I'm going to watch it all because I'm starting to dig this now. The teen angst really didn't work. However, there was one young actress who plays the character Alexi, who I think is strong.
She's the standout. I agree.
Yeah, she's the standout. And it kind of works. I'm still not convinced about the rest of the arcs by the end. Yeah. But the Chucky stuff kind of just takes over at the end, so it doesn't really matter.
Right, right.
And man, it is crazy town.
It absolutely is.
Episode. It's really enjoyable, and it ends so. I even love, they do a recap at the beginning of each episode, and they get basically a little girl talking over the recap. She goes, "Last week on fucking Chucky."
Yeah, made me laugh.
And we do get one bit, which I won't spoil about to it, but we get basically Chucky in an armchair by a roaring fire, he's telling a story. That really made me laugh.
Oh, I loved it.
That little bit.
It made me think of like we had like Masterpiece Theater here in the States.
Yes,
that kind of
exactly.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, that's just awesome, and there are just all these moments like that scattered throughout the show, and like I said, the kills too are just brutal.
Yeah, we even get a kill count at one point of like, let's
yeah,
recap where we've got things like that.
it was
It
great.
was fun, and it channeled a lot of the '80s vibe. I think because the creative force behind this was Don Mancini, who was really heavily involved in all of Child's Play. He wrote the first one, directed the last three films.
Yeah,
Apart from 2019, and it was great to see Nika back as well, and Jennifer
she's
Tilly.
very talented.
Yes.
All the actors here, as we said, from the new actors, the one who played Lexi, a huge standout because really it's very easy to hate her in the beginning. She's very good at playing a bully, but then they kind of have her come around, and she's able to carry both roles very good. She's able to, if you will, in wrestling terms, she goes from a heel to a face,
Yeah, and there's a good reason for it. There's a specific dramatic arc where she realizes she's caused someone to hate her so much they, might do something really bad. And I think that changes her, right?
Yeah.
That changes her. And that works well. And the actress presents it well. I think she's very good. Well, okay. I don't even want to say any more because I don't want to spoil it, right?
Yeah.
How would you rate this series, this season one?
I would give it a very solid, probably, gosh, I would give it a 4 out of 5. Almost a 4.
Exactly
4.5.
the same. Exactly the same. 4 out of 5. And if I was to rate the first half to the second half, it'd be like 2 out of 5 and pretty much 5 out of 5.
Yeah, same for me. We're on the exact same page there, Mark. Really, it's amazing because I watched the first 2, as I said, and I was like, "Oh, this is terrible." Like besides
the only
Chucky
good stuff was the Chucky stuff.
Yeah,
that was it.
Exactly.
There was nothing else that was interesting.
Yeah,
and
it was like,
and it felt like, why have we got this teen angst in a Chucky movie?
Right.
But then it all kind of resolves out, and you kind of get it. There's a reason Chucky's doing things like within this realm and things like that.
Yeah, there is, and that's one of the other great things is it's all like they're able to bring all that together. So I would say, just like if you can make it through like the first 2-3 episodes, it really becomes worth it.
Yeah. I mean, there's some interesting stuff. I personally didn't particularly like the young Charles Lee Ray. I thought it was a bit contrived, much like I don't like in Halloween. But you might like that, and that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, this is a good recommend. I personally am going to carry on watching these, and we'll discuss off air. If you continue, maybe we can cover it. But we'll see.
I feel like I have to now because I'm very invested in it.
Well, see, the end of season 1, I've got to see what happens next.
Exactly. And I did take a peek at the next one. And
you have? I specifically avoid watching it anymore because I didn't want to influence. I didn't want to be confused when we talk about it. So I would have watched it what's some by now, but I've specifically, until we record, I've decided to hold it back.
I won't say anything then except that I think we're gonna want to watch more of this. It definitely looks like it just from the first, because I only watched like 2 minutes of the next season episode just to see like, okay, is it gonna continue on? And so I was like, good enough. I think we both like this a lot, and this is like the year of Child's Play and Chucky for us almost. We've sprinkled some other things in between just to keep it fresh, but and to our audience, I would say, hey, what are you guys enjoying our talk of Child's Play, and would you want us to cover more of the TV series as well?
I have to say, I was freaked out by one thing. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I was actually freaked out by just how far Tiffany went with what she was doing. I could not believe it went that far. I was really shocked. But that's for someone to watch and judge for themselves.
Indeed. I think I know the part you're talking about, and it's wild stuff, man.
I'd say, sorry, go on.
They really they don't hold back, and to be a TV series, I was amazed with how much they kind of got away with. I mean, it is on cable, and I think these were late night on Sci-Fi Channel, so maybe they could get away with a little bit more. And MPAA and not MPAA, but oh, I can't remember who does the TV ratings,
Right. Yeah.
but they don't have. They're definitely less strict, I feel like, than they used to be.
Yeah.
That being said, I feel like some of this stuff might have been a little cut for the TV version. I don't know because I didn't see the TV version.
I don't think so. I think this was shown as it was. I mean, there's a lot stronger shows out there. I know
Yeah.
this is stronger. There are stronger ones.
That's true. I mean, there are definitely like crime dramas and stuff. I'm always amazed by the amount of gore they get away with on that. So
Yeah. So this is a strong recommend from us, I'd say.
yeah,
Would you?
absolutely.
Okay, I did ask for some feedback. We did get one piece of feedback from Rolf Pickler. Hi, Rolf.
Thank you, Ralph. We appreciate it.
He said, "Hello, UNH. Just to say, I watched Chucky 2019 and I didn't hate it. It is, however, missing the gleeful, humorous venom of traditional Chucky. It did miss that, but I think they did it in a fairly reasonable way." And then he goes on to say, "I feel like the 2019 Chucky feeds directly into Megan." Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
Megan feels like it was kind of almost a redo of this.
Yeah.
version. But
Yes. I kind of think maybe they stole all the ideas from this and said, let's write it a little bit better and polish it a little. And I mean, I don't know for sure, but it does kind of feel like that,
Yeah. So thanks for that feedback. So yes, I've enjoyed this Chucky watch throughs. I really have.
Yeah,
all
me
of them,
too.
really. I mean, there are weaker and stronger films, but I think from the films, Bride of Chucky is still my favourite, though the original is still very good.
Yeah.
And this TV season, I wasn't expecting. This episode has been great because I didn't expect much from either.
Yeah, I am this,
and I got plenty out of both.
Yeah, me too, Mark. I'm exactly the same. I was like, man, I don't know about having to watch this because remakes a lot of times.
We weren't committed I mean, the remake we were committed to watching, but the TV season, we weren't particularly committed. We weren't necessarily going to do it. It's just I watched some and I realised, I want to watch this, and then I'll let you know, and you decided you were going to watch it, and it just worked out. It just worked out.
Yeah, I'm really glad you watched more than I did, and you recommended like, oh, okay, this has gotten good, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot, and I did rewatch through those initial 2 episodes. I was like,
it set you up, didn't it?
It does, because it had been, gosh, it had probably been since 2019 or whenever the series premiered that I had watched those, and so maybe 2020. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, I kind of felt the same about the first 2, and I was like, I don't know. And then it was either episode 3 or 4 for me where I was like, yeah, okay, this is really good. And so I'm really glad it did work out the way it did.
Yeah, I think we're in safe hands with Don Mancini. He I agree. He delivers by the end, right? That's important.
He does. Very
and
talented.
I like the fact it's only 8 episodes. That makes it punchy.
It does. And I think I was actually talking with my brother about this the other day. I said, most TV series, they used to be like, 26 to 29 episodes a season, and you had so much filler, and now I think shows are much more punchy because they're so much shorter. And I appreciate that a lot more. Also, the production is just so much higher now. So I think it works a lot better.
Yeah, I like these 8 to 10 episode seasons. I think it just, the Squid Game or, Cobra Kai, or even, I think Ash versus Evil Dead is fairly short.
It is.
There's only 8 or 10 per season. It just feels fun. It feels fun. It doesn't feel like, oh man, I've got so much to get through. So enjoy. Good watch. Both of these.
Absolutely. Well, shall we wrap it up for this episode?
All right. Let's wrap it up. Yeah.
Well, Mark, thanks so much, man. It's always a blast. I always enjoy our conversations about horror, and I know our audience does as well. So you can listen to us now directly on Buzzsprout. If you go to UnitedNationsOfHorror.buzzsprout.com, you can find all of our episodes pretty much. I think just about all of them are there. You can also watch our video cast on YouTube. That's youtube.com/the United Nations of Horror. And come join in the conversation on Facebook. One of us, as we like to say. So go to facebook.com/groups/UN of Horror. And we are also on X, or Twitter X, as I like to call it. So for that, go to x.com/UNH podcast. And bye from me.
And bye from me.
And we'll see you next time right here on the United Nations of Horror.
The United Nations of Horror is a podcast about all things horror. From thrillers of yesteryear to today's modern horror, we are here to present fun and intelligent conversation about the genre films we love. Join us and please help spread the word about the United Nations of Horror podcast and videocast to horror fans across the globe. Find the podcast on all fine podcasting services. Join us on Facebook by simply going to facebook.com and entering in United Nations of Horror. You can also find us on YouTube by going to youtube.com and searching for United Nations of Horror podcast.